Happy Saturday, everyone. Saturday live stream. You guys asked for it yesterday. Here I am. We got breaking news with Tesla production deliveries. By the way, let me know if my audio is coming in fine. I see Joe in the chat, DJ, Create Your Worth, Lynn. How's it going, everyone? Let me know if my audio is coming in fine. Let's get into the breaking news with Tesla numbers. Let's get into price action, where that may lead until next week. And then towards the end, I want to go over towards the end of Friday's live stream. There was some options order flow towards the tail end of the day that I think I didn't highlight just hard enough. And maybe that precludes, or that, can give us some sort of a hint where we might be headed into next week. Chadwick, Jason, how's it going? CJ, Michael, Steve, awesome. Okay, let's get into it. So without further ado, let's get into the production delivery report. So 258,580 cars produced in quarter two. I quote tweeted Martin, who obviously is head of IR. And what's interesting is the production delivery numbers and kind of the gap between the two, but it makes sense. Production, like I said, 258,000, deliveries about 4,000 less. And this makes sense. Of course, Tesla's rushing to make cars and was closed for the first couple months of the quarter. So towards the end, they're probably, all gung-ho making these cars, but they can't get them into the hands of the people just out of the factory line super fast, right? So that explains some of the chasm there. I'm not too worried. Again, consensus was, and Martin actually distributed out a kind of a debrief of this, was around 256,000. So depending on the number that you use, production or delivery, you can make your narrative. Tesla beats, Tesla misses. And I'm already seeing people on Discord throwing out that, Tesla, CNBC is throwing out Tesla missing, or, Reuters, I even saw one. So maybe they changed that. Who knows? But for all intents and purposes, I don't care, because the biggest sentence of this press release is June 2022, Tesla says, was the highest vehicle production month in Tesla's history. Now, the reason why this is big is because if there was going to be any sort of negative sentiment for this quarter, which I don't see how there is, considering what we know in terms of challenges that Tesla has faced for this quarter, even if there was, that sentence right there probably calms the nerves of, let's say, a lot of portfolio managers that were looking for some hint as to where they are for June. Dan Ives has been repeatedly saying on mainstream media that what he cares about, what maybe, let's say, buy-side analysts or, let's say, portfolio managers care about, is the June run rate. Now, we don't know the June run rate per se just from looking at these numbers. We can't deduce that. But China numbers should be coming out in the next little week here. So we'll probably get some sort of sentiment out of China. But we know Fremont is kind of the wild card, of course, because of the mix to high-end premium cars there have been this quarter. All the Plaids that have been coming out, all the S's. And so as we look at the mix of vehicles, I think the ASP, it's probably easy to deduce that the ASP is going to be a lot higher from Fremont, which may negate some of the effect that we saw maybe with Bitcoin impairment. And even just with margin constant, it's going to be interesting to see how much of that can get offset. Awesome. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining. So, and I'll read all the questions towards the end. So this is kind of in expectations. Remember on live stream, did anyone get this right on yesterday's live stream? If you were on yesterday's live stream, let me know if you came close to this. As you know, I guess 261,000. But Price is Right rules kind of takes me out of this. So let's get Dan Ives' perspective on this. Tesla hit 255, which is the street whisper number with China COVID shutdown shutting down April and May. June was the biggest production month in Tesla's history, according to press release. Overall, the street knew that this would be ugly, and all focus was on June and on the second half of this year. Now look forward. EPS July 20th. So I'm not sure if we have a date for earnings just yet, or actually maybe we do. Oh yeah, right here. I didn't even read it. Wednesday, July 20th will be earnings date. I'll be live streaming for that. And Dan goes on to say, we believe Street reads these Tesla numbers as a positive Tuesday morning. June commentary is key. And pretty much that's what we want to talk about kind of next is how do we see the price action coming in for Monday or Tuesday, pardon me, because it's the long weekend. I hope everyone's having a great long weekend. Bjorn says, 258. That's pretty close. Actually, you probably win at that point. So here's what I kind of see. So towards the end of Friday, yesterday's trading day, we saw some again. I think I showed it, but it was the 700 strikes coming in hot and heavy for Tesla, creating some sort of a bullish divergence. Now, $700 isn't radically exciting. If we look at, we're already sitting at $680. $700, what, a $20, or let me judge. Hold on one second. $700 is about a 3% move. 3 to 5% move is kind of what I'm expecting for Tuesday, should macro be on our side. And even if macro isn't on our side, I think we probably trade flat-ish for Monday or Tuesday. I keep saying Monday, sorry. So I'm expecting some sort of a positive move reaction to this. And if macro is really bad on Tuesday, then maybe just Tesla being relatively strong versus tech. That's just my general sentiment right now. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Harry says 28% year-over-year sales growth. Yeah, 28% year-over-year sales growth would not excite me normally, right? You'd look at 28% year-over-year growth for a company that wants to hit 50%. But of course, context is key here. April, May, all the shutdowns that we had. But the biggest risk still, if you want to call it this, is we know that for 99% of the world, COVID is kind of over in terms of restrictions and lockdowns. But that's not necessarily the key in China. And that's not the worrying thing, but that's the almost the key short-term risk right now is, do we get another one of these lockdowns forced? And I don't know about Chinese policies very much at all. I don't know about the general sentiment in the country or the CCP and kind of how they lay the land. But it seems like it's kind of out of our hands, out of our control. And that seems like kind of the short-term risk that may happen. And going into the options order flow as well, let's go into that. We saw, and again, this is Trady Ticks. You can check it out, link in the description. You'll see above my fat head there, you'll see the stock price in the candles, and then you'll see that green line, which is their algo flow line, their options algo flow line. So as options come in, put sweeps, or puts, calls, sweeps, blocks, whatever it may be, aggressive, not aggressive, they can essentially have some sort of an algorithm line that predicts what price may be in the medium term. And so as we sit here, and this is, I think, the 15-minute graph, as we sit here, 725 is kind of the key target for the options algo. And you'll see right around, a day and a half ago, we saw some actually pretty big spike ups in options premium come in. So it seems like leading into Tuesday, again, barring any big macro news, it seems like we're probably in for some sort of strength on Tuesday. So Steve says over 800 would be nice. I think the key here is not so much we don't need and as much as I'd love this, a 20% up day one day and then back down 5 or 10% for the next couple of days. What we need is a steady climb up, more of a base building from here, because when we fall in so much as we have and the whole market has, I think what's important here is not a big massive bear market rally, but a kind of a slow building base up where there's a fundamental line in the sand, so to speak, where buyers are comfortable buying. Because right now there's a sentiment in the market where people don't know if there's, Michael Berry, for example, saying that there's going to be a second half of this crash. And, it just seems like there is, people think there's more blood on the streets. So I think a line in this, building a base here is probably going to be kind of key. Okay, so overall good news. You guys are Harry saying JM reported 15% year-over-year decline in sales. Yeah, Whole Mars had a really awesome tweet out on this. I'm gonna try to see if I can find it here, but pretty much showing where the entire auto market lays with percentage growth quarter over quarter, year over year. I think it was. So, and by the way, there's a new update coming to Teslas as well. It's called the green light chime. So every time there's a green light, whether you're waiting in line, whatever it is, it will chime to let you through. I have had no experience with that yet. So as soon as it comes out, I'll let you know. I'll let you guys know what I think about it. So, okay, here it is, by the way. I think this is actually pretty cool to show. Thanks for subscribing, Clint. Okay, so U.S. light vehicle sales in June change year over year. I think this is actually quarter. It's actually quarter two. He goes on to correct it down here. All of quarter two. So BMW down 20%, GM down 15%, Honda down 50%, Hyundai, Kia down 20, Mazda down 43%, Infinity down 40%, Nissan down 38%. I think you get the point. And Toyota, notably down 23% as well. Tesla up 53%. Um, so yeah, pretty intense. And I guess if you want to change, and this is U.S. light vehicle sales, so it's kind of a niche market that we're talking about with these numbers here. But still, it kind of shows you where everything is headed. um, DJ says, remember, after the July updates to Shanghai, it'll be making 20,000 cars a week. That's a big bump. So 20,000 cars a week. Is that the going run rate? So yeah, so if you don't know, by the way, July 1st to 4th, I think. So for the next couple more days, there's going to be some upgrades happening in Shanghai. And from what I've read, even, it's not the entire factory that's even being shut down. There's still parts of the factory and actually lines still running, but they're updating to increase capacity. So yeah, but 20,000 a week. So I guess that makes sense. Kev says, "Please don't speak that into existence." I'm guessing you're talking about the lockdowns. Yeah. CSZA says, "Yes, when I asked you when would you be considered a new factory is not announced by, you said mid next year, and I agree. Yeah, I think I'm gonna say fall. Not to be too on the fence, but I think fall makes sense, and I believe actually Elon said the same thing during last year's annual shareholders meeting. He said towards the summer to fall of next year, I think is what he said, or that's the impression I got, that they're going to be looking into factories and actively it's going to be in the news, right? Because when Giga Texas was coming on, or Giga Texas was being announced, we knew for months it was going to be Texas, or it was going to be Tulsa, right? It was, yes, Tulsa, right? Man, yeah. Anyways, but the point here is we knew that there were fighting between the two. Elon was leveraging both. So, uh, I think if we don't hear that starting, Michael says, I thought he said end of the year. Fair enough. And you know what? That is Elon time. But the way I look at it is, okay, if Shanghai is expanding, of course we know that. Shanghai has a second backside opening up to it as well. And Giga Berlin and Giga Texas are ramping. I mean, I guess Giga Berlin and Giga Texas are really the question. We found out Giga Texas is expanding with a new part as well. So I don't know what the capacity lies with everything all said and done, and especially with the 4680s, it's just no way for us to know. But quarter 3 and quarter 4 are going to be really exciting, super exciting. Yeah. I mean, that's the question mark. The question mark is the 4680s. And by the way, I was going to have a video out on the 4680s to say, I was going to like title it something provocative, like no one cares about the 4680, because my point was going to, my point was going to be, outside of Tesla investors or people that are really hardcore Tesla fans, I don't think anyone really, like the average layperson, cares about what battery tech is in their car. I mean, I know if you're nerdy about your EVs, like maybe we care, 2170s, 46, we kind of care about these things. But the average person that's buying a car, the average family, they don't care. As long as the specs are the specs and those hold true, I think for the most part, people don't care. So I think we kind of live in a bubble sometimes with what batteries are happening. Of course, we care about the teardowns, about what happened with Sandy and all this sort of stuff. But we have to also keep into consideration that I don't think the average person cares too much about it. So the split is coming. Yeah. So the split is another thing I'm not just saying get excited about the split. Of course, it's going to be awesome when the stock splits for options purposes as well. But, until let's say 2 or 3 weeks before the split, which we don't even know exactly what day it's going to be. We know the annual general meeting is August 4th. And so we know it could split, let's say that week, it could split a couple weeks from there. I think until that kind of middle of July-ish month, I don't think we see too much price action come up from it. So we'll see. Any other questions in here? Yeah, the June statement that I talked about how June is a record month. I I think that's awesome. The question is how much of that gets forgotten by Tuesday. Again, long weekend. So I'm still expecting us, let's say, to trade over 800, or if macro is really bad, to maybe stay flattish. Especially with the options order flow. That's kind of my main sentiment gauge here, is looking at the options order flow and seeing that it's generally pretty strong. And we know that Mondays, actually, I can probably show you right here. I think Mondays are generally a strong Tesla day in terms of win rate to close green. I think I could pull that up here on Trading Ticks. So if you look at weekday seasonality, you'll see that Monday has the highest percentage of green days every week. Not by much, but it is true technically with the data apparently. So what's also interesting is we're out of June. June usually has a 77% win rate on Tesla. And if we pull up the month of June, now that we're out of it, thank God, we did not finish green on June. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to say that. Started the month of June, $760-ish, and then we closed the other day, $670 some odd dollars. So it was a red June, which only happens, apparently, only happens 25% of the time. And July is usually historically a tough month. It's a less than a 50. It's about a 46% chance that we finish green, according to the data. So, July is not a hot month usually for Tesla. Let's see if we can turn that around. I think the last couple of Julys have been. Actually, I'm just trying to remember now. If we go back to July of last year, it was kind of a nothing burger month. This is our candle. started at 686, ended at 690. So really nothing there. And then, of course, when the split was announced and all that sort of stuff, we kind of had crazy land then. But I guess we'll see where everything lies. Daniel, happy Canada Day to you as well. Belated. Absolutely. Mimi says, but the 4680s are essential for ramping and profit. Oh, absolutely. And I agree. That I'm not disputing that part. And I know when I say that, I'm kind of talking to investors of Tesla or traders or people that care about profit margin financials. But I'm just talking, I see this general sentiment online sometimes where Tesla investors like to talk to average Tesla buyers. And then they talk about, why would you take delivery of a car with the 2170s? Just wait for the 4680s. And, there's like this sentiment of like trying to help people, but it's like directing people away from, getting the car with the specs that they want, because it's not the new tech. And I think for the average person, it shouldn't matter. And I think that's probably what Tesla as well would probably say, your sales reps. So, Shanghai is awesome. I get it. Berlin's going to be awesome. Texas is great. We all love Texas. Fremont's kind of, not on that level, of course, of production. But, what beats Shanghai? Like the work that that Tesla China has done with the Chinese people in Shanghai to ramp up facilities, to re-ramp, to build this factory, like it's just world class. It's world class. I just don't see how any other factory in any part of the world ever comes close to what Shanghai has done. Yeah. So all in all, I think June 2022 being the highest production month in Tesla's history will at least, I think, bring some sort of strength come Tuesday. The question is really, number one question is how is macro Tuesday? Is it on our side? And then number two is really how much of this gets forgotten by Tuesday. Remember, it's a long weekend. I guess, maybe the Wall Street Hamptons people are going to come back from their vacation homes probably Monday night, debrief on everything. So we'll see how much of this gets forgotten come Tuesday. It seems like when there's good news, it usually gets forgotten. And when there's bad news, it comes out like an hour before opening. Paul says, what do you think the figure was for June? Shame they didn't mention it. Yeah, the closest we're going to get to finding out what June was is from the CPCA in about a weekish time, we'll get some numbers out of them as to what were retail and what were exports, and then we could deduce what Shanghai did. But yeah, unfortunately, there's no way to know this much from Fremont with this mix, or this much from Texas contribution. I'm sure in the earnings report on July 20th, we'll probably get some sort of indication as to how well these factories have been doing. But yeah. Happy Canada Day. There you go. Just Learning says, just tuning in. What's happening? Maybe you want to rewind. But yeah, thanks for joining, folks. It's Saturday morning on a long weekend. You could be doing anything, but you're here talking Tesla, albeit just for a little bit with me. Hadouken, appreciate that. Hadouken says, like and subscribe. I appreciate it. Trying to get to 20,000 subscribers. If you want to subscribe, I would appreciate it. And maybe we'll get there one day. DJ says, historically speaking, July 4th week is something like 55 to 60% green, and July 4th weeks with the Monday off, it goes up to 70% green. Really interesting, albeit 1.5% green, but green nonetheless. Well, at least I guess the probability is on our side there, but we'll find out. Saturday afternoon there. That's right, Blake. Oh, thanks for removing that, mods. Thank you. Awesome. So I hope everyone has an awesome long weekend. Enjoy it. I know I say it's so ironic because last night I ended our live stream saying, put away the phones. Don't care about what is it? Don't care about stocks and all this stuff. And I say that every Friday. And then of course, once every quarter, I have to come out on a weekend and live stream. Not because I have to, because I want to. So much love, everyone. Take care. I'll catch you in the next one. Hit subscribe on your way out. Much love to all Patreon channel members. I'll catch you guys on Discord. We'll keep up the conversation there. If you want to join, feel free to check it out. $5 a month gets you in on Patreon. And yeah, much love. Take care, everyone. Peace out.